There is a number in your head right now. It is the amount of money you think would finally make you feel safe, finally make you feel free. And here's the strange part. You have probably already passed that number at some point in your life. You just moved the goalpost the second you got close. A raise came in, a bonus landed, and within a few weeks, the money was already spoken for. The bigger paycheck felt normal, almost invisible, like it had always been there. This is happening to millions of people at the same moment, and most of them have no idea it is even happening. They feel the pressure, they just cannot see where it comes from. Think about the last time your income went up. Maybe it was a promotion, maybe a new job you worked hard to land. For a little while, life felt lighter, the stress eased. Then slowly, without any big decision, a nicer place to live, a better car, a few more subscriptions, dinners out that turned into a weekly habit. 2 years later, you were earning more than ever, and somehow you had less breathing room than before. Picture it in real numbers. Say your pay jumped from $50,000 to $65,000. That is an extra $15,000 a year in your pocket. But instead of saving it, you moved somewhere pricier, leased a nicer car, and started ordering out more often. 2 years pass, and even though you earn a third more, you have less in the bank than you did before the raise. Researchers have a name for this. They call it the hedonic treadmill. Your comfort goes up, your happiness settles back to the same spot, and you have to keep spending more just to feel the way you used to feel for free. The engine underneath all of this is something called hedonic adaptation. Your brain gets used to good things fast. That first sip of fancy coffee after the promotion felt like a reward. Within weeks, it stopped being a treat and became something you just expected. The new car thrilled you for a month, then faded into the background. So you reach for the next upgrade and the next one after that. You are chasing a feeling that keeps slipping away the moment you catch it. It is a race with no finish line, and the track is your own paycheck. The faster you run, the more it costs you to stay in the exact same place. Financial minimalism steps in and does something almost rebellious. It stops the race entirely. It asks one question that most people never sit down and answer honestly. How much is actually enough? Not enough to impress anyone, not enough to match the people around you, enough for the life you truly want to live. Sit with that question for a second because most people never do. They spend decades earning and spending and never once pause to ask what amount would actually be enough. The moment you can answer that with a real number, something changes inside you. Every dollar above that line stops feeling like pressure and starts feeling like freedom. Most people never decide what enough means, so their target keeps climbing forever. It always sits just out of reach, no matter how hard they work. Naming your number breaks that spell. All of a sudden, the finish line stops moving, and for the first time, you can actually see it. And this is not some fringe idea anymore. All around you, people are getting tired of the chase. They are canceling the subscriptions they forgot they had. They are skipping the upgrade just because it came out. They are asking a question they never used to ask before they hand over their money. Is this something I truly want, or does it just feel like something I should buy? That small shift is spreading fast because people are finally noticing something. The endless upgrading was never making them happier. It was just making them tired and a little more worried with every passing year. Here is what financial minimalism really means. Because the word gets misunderstood so often, it's not about empty rooms or owning as little as possible. It's not a test of how much you can give up. It is about alignment. It is about pointing your money at the few things that truly matter to you and letting go of everything that does not. When you spend on less, you get to spend more on what you actually care about. Your focus gets sharper, the noise fades, and your bank account starts filling up almost as a side effect. Now think about what most of your spending is really driven by. A huge slice of it comes from comparing yourself to other people. A coworker drives a nicer car, so yours suddenly feels old. A neighbor redoes their kitchen, and yours starts to bother you. This pressure to keep up is one of the biggest drains on wealth there is. And it never ends, because there is always someone with more. Financial minimalism cuts that cord. When you have already decided what enough looks like for you, other people's choices stop pulling on your wallet. Their upgrades become their business, and your peace stays your own. Now think about what happens to the money you free up. Every expense you cut is not just a subtraction, it becomes fuel. The dinners you skip, the subscriptions you cancel, the upgrades you decide you do not need. All of that money can flow somewhere powerful. into savings that give you a cushion when life gets hard, into investments that grow while you sleep, into experiences you will still be talking about in 20 years, long after another gadget would be forgotten in a drawer. The same $100 that vanishes on things you will not remember can instead become the first brick in a wall of real security. Nothing about the money changed, only where you aimed it, and it works faster than most people expect. When your spending stops rising every time your income does, the gap between what you earn and what you keep gets wider and wider. That gap is the whole game. That gap is what buys you options. It is what lets you leave a job that drains you. It lets you handle an emergency without panic. It lets you say yes to something meaningful without checking your account first. People who live below their means are not missing out on life. They are the ones with the most freedom to actually live it. There is a gentler benefit too, and it might be the most valuable of all. Every purchase is a small decision, and every decision uses up a little mental energy. When you stop chasing more of everything, your mind gets lighter. You are no longer managing a mountain of stuff, tracking a dozen payments, or worrying about things you barely use. That mental space comes back to you, and peace of mind, it turns out, is something no amount of spending can ever buy. So, how do you begin? Start small and start honest. Look at your last month of spending and ask which of it actually made your life better. Some of it will surprise you. There will be purchases you cannot even remember making. Cancel what you do not miss. Before your next big buy, wait 30 days and see if you still want it. Most of the time, the urge simply passes on its own. And when it does not, you buy the thing knowing you really wanted it, which feels far better anyway. Then take the money you save and give it a job. Maybe that is paying down debt. Maybe it is building a safety net. Maybe it is investing in your future. None of this needs a huge income or a dramatic life change. It just needs you to spend on purpose instead of on autopilot. Here is a small promise worth making to yourself. The next raise you get does not have to disappear into a bigger lifestyle. You can decide right now that some of it goes straight toward freedom. That single choice, repeated over the years, changes everything. One honest choice at a time, the pressure starts to lift and the freedom starts to build. And once you feel that first bit of breathing room, you will want more of it. The people who find real financial freedom are almost never the ones who earn the most. They are the ones who figured out what enough looks like and then had the courage to stop there. They stepped off the treadmill while everyone else kept running. And in the space that opened up, they found the freedom the rest of the world is still chasing with a bigger paycheck. You do not need to change everything today. You just need to answer one question. What is enough for you? Because the moment you know that number, and it is almost always far smaller than the world keeps telling you, you stop needing so much. And needing less might be the most powerful form of wealth there is. If this shifted something for you, do me a favor and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you there.